Hi there, and welcome to Automation Doc. In this tutorial, you're going to be able to create your first mini automated process using Automation Doc's powerful Excel add-on. As you've reached this point, it is assumed that you've already installed Automation Doc and have read through the user guide to become familiar with its features. This beginner process has been designed and put together just to give you a better understanding of how we can use Automation Doc to automate a basic task. In this scenario, we're going to validate some VAT numbers that we have for various organizations using a free online checker. We will need to perform the following tasks. Open up the browser and navigate to the defined URL. Take a table that we've already created and work through each item one at a time. Then take the country code from the selected row and enter it into the web page. Then take the corresponding VAT code from the table and enter this into the web page form. Press a Verify button on the web page to check that the VAT number is valid. Then take the successful or unsuccessful message which is generated by the page and paste that message back into our Excel table on the corresponding row. We will perform this task for each row in our table until we have no more data to check. And finally, we will close the browser. Okay, let's get started. First, click on the Automation Doc tab in the menu bar. Then click on the Enable Automation button in the top left. You'll be presented with this pop-up window. You will need to accept the Terms and Conditions checkbox and then click Accept. Okay, this is where we will construct our automation. If you're not already familiar with this area, you can refer back to the user guide for details. Begin by clicking into the first available cell. Here you'll type the name of your process. In this tutorial, the process will be called VAT validation. Now click into the cell in the Action column and click on the drop-down icon to the right of it. From here we can select the action Browser Open. Click into the next cell across in the Step Description column. Here we are able to give any description of the action that we choose. You don't have to write any, but in this case we'll write Open Browser. Now we are asked to provide the parameters for this action. Click into the Browser field. Click on the drop-down icon and choose Chrome, or whatever browser you may be using. For the URL parameter, paste the URL which you can find just after the start of this video. You may need to jump back and just take a note of it. You can now go ahead and click down into the next row. For every row in this process, we will type VAT validation as the process name. Click again on the action drop-down icon. This time choose the action Item Select. For the description we can say Enter requester information once, as this is what this action will be doing on the web page. You will notice that the parameters are different for this action. This time we are asked for option. We will choose Select as the input. Instead of directly typing in the parameter, we can also use the wizard by clicking on the Action Parameters button in the menu. Here we can choose from either identifying the item we wish to interact with by using the mouse to click on it directly, or by selecting one of the item type's radio buttons, and Automation Doc will provide a list of all the possible items to choose from. In this case, we will choose Click Search. For this, we will need to first manually open the web page from the URL. Then, to select the item we want to interact with, we simply hold the Control button while left-clicking with the mouse, and then releasing the Control button. We should now see the element we chose displayed in the item list. Check it's correct and click the tick to confirm. Okay, our next action will be Text Enter. Select it from the drop-down menu. The parameter for this action is requesting the text we wish to enter. Type CZ, this is the country code we wish to write. Then type Enter, which is enclosed in curly brackets. This represents pressing the Enter button on the keyboard. Our next action will be Item Select. Select it again from the drop-down menu. Now click on the Action Parameters button. Again, we have the choice of selecting the item with the mouse or letting Automation Dock provide us with a list. This time we will choose the User Input Types radio button and click on the spyglass. Choose the item which matches the field we want to write into. In this case, the DIC requests a number edit. The next action will be Text Enter. For the text parameter, type CTRL in curly brackets, followed by the letter A, followed by backspace in curly brackets, followed by the number 8604061895. Control A will select anything already in the field, and backspace will delete it, ensuring an empty field to write to. The number is our company number, which we are writing into the field. Now choose the action Counter. In the description here, we can type loop through the list. The start at parameter here is asking us which row in the list we would like to start on. We will instruct 2 as row 1 is the header. In increments, we can leave the default value of 1. This simply means the counter will move through the list one row at a time. You will also notice a blue cell to the right called Counter. This will display the current row while our process is running. You can find our list on the second tab called List 1. Here you will see the rows that the process will work through. Over to the right in the yellow cells are where we will paste our results gathered from the web page. Our next action will be Excel function. As the name suggests, this action will perform some function in the Excel document. For the parameter, we will type country in square brackets, followed by the equal symbol, followed by list1 exclamation mark E, followed by counter in square brackets. This is setting variable values in our process, so it is saying the variable country equals the value from column E on the list 1 page and on the row defined by our current counter value. The result of this will be displayed in the blue result cell to the right. Select another Excel function action. For this parameter, we will type DIC in square brackets, followed by the equal symbol, followed by list1 exclamation mark F, followed by counter in square brackets. This is setting the DIC variable value from the value taken from column F in our table on list 1 and the row as defined by the counter. Select yet another Excel function action. This time in the description, type no other row, loop exit. For the parameter, type country in square brackets, followed by question mark, followed by equal symbol, followed by open and closed quotation marks. This is asking the question on the current row in our Excel list, is the country variable empty? We will see a true or false result shown in the blue results cell to the right when the process is running. For our next action, choose Item Select. For our description, we can write Enter Client Details. Click on the Action Parameters button in the menu. We will identify the item this time using the mouse. Select the country combo box shown here. You should now see the item displayed in the item list. Check that it's correct and click the tick button. Now choose the action Text Enter. For the parameter, type country in square brackets followed by enter in curly brackets. This is taking our country variable and writing it to the field we just previously identified on the action above, and then pressing the enter button. Our next action will be Item Select. Click on the Action Parameters button in the top menu. We will search for the item by selecting the User Input Types radio button and clicking on the spyglass. Choose the item that we want to write to, in this case the DIC number edit element. The next action we will want to use will be Text Enter. For the text parameter, we will type CTRL in curly brackets, followed by the letter A, followed by backspace in curly brackets, followed by DIC in square brackets. This is saying select all in the field, delete it, and then type in our DIC variable, which comes from the current row in our list. Now, our next item will be Item Select. For a description, we can write Click Verify, as we are going to identify and click the Verify button on the web page. Choose the option parameter Left Click from the drop-down menu. Now select the Action Parameters button once again. Here we can choose the Button radio button and then click on the spyglass. This will give us a list of all buttons visible on the web page. You should see the item Ovierzyć button displayed in the item list. This is the Verify button in Czech language. Select this item and click the tick button. The next action we want is Item Select. For a description, we can write Verification Valid CZ. Now click on the Action Parameters button. Select the Table and Data radio button and click on the spyglass. From the item list, select what will be the success message as displayed on the web page. In this case, the message we are looking for is Ano Platnia DIC data item. In column K, type the number 95. This tells the process which row to jump to if it fails to return the success message. I know we don't have a row 95 at the moment, but this will make sense shortly. In column L, type the number 96. This tells the process which row to jump to if it successfully returns the success message. Again, we don't have a row 96 yet, but we will see how it will work in just a moment. Now choose the action Item Select. For a description, we can write verification invalid. Click on the Action Parameters button and select the Table and Data radio button and click on the spyglass. Choose the non-successful message from the item list. In this case, it will be neplatnie число DPH data item. In column K, type 98. This is where the process will redirect to if it fails to find the unsuccessful message in the web page. The next action in our process will be value retrieve. In column K, type 97. Remember on row 94 we said that if we successfully found the success message, then go to row 95. Well, this is now row 95 and we want the process to retrieve that message. The next action is Excel function. In the function parameter, type list1 exclamation mark G, followed by counter in square brackets, followed by the equal symbol, followed by value in square brackets. This will write back into our Excel list in column G and the row as defined by the counter variable, the value of the successful or unsuccessful message. Now select action Item Select again. For the description, we can type Go Back, as we will be identifying and then pressing the Go Back button on the web page. For the parameter option, choose left click. Click on the Action Parameters button in the top menu. We can select the Button radio button and then click on the spyglass to give us a list of all the visible buttons on the web page again. From the item list, find the button we want to press. In this case, it's the back button. Select it and then click on the tick. In column L, type 85. This takes us back up to the beginning of the loop to repeat the actions for the next row in our Excel list. For the next action, choose mouse click. In the description, we can type Close browser. In the target parameter, we need to select Window Top Right. For the button parameter, we can leave the default value of left, and for the position parameter, we can leave the default value of 0.0. This just gives the coordinates of the close button in the top right of the browser window. And finally, for the last action in our process, we can select Process End. In the Save parameter, type No. Now that we have come to the end of our process, we just need to go back to row 88 and in column L, type 99. That's because on this row, we said that if our country variable returned empty, then it means that we have looped through all rows in our Excel list and therefore can jump to row 99, which is to close the browser and finish the process. Okay, let's quickly recap each of the steps in the process and what they do, starting at the beginning. First, we opened the browser and navigated to the target URL. Then we selected the Requester Country combo box on the web page. We entered our country code, in this case CZ, to that combo box. Then we selected the DIC requester number field. We then deleted any existing data from this field and entered our company number. Then we indicated that we would be starting to loop through our Excel list starting on row 2. Then we extracted the country from our Excel list and held it as the country variable. Then we extracted the DIC number from our Excel list and held it as the DIC variable. We then checked that we have our value in our country variable, and if the variable was empty, then assume that we are at the end of the list and we would jump to row 99 where the process would close down. Assuming we do have a value, then we selected the country combo box on the web page. We then wrote the country to the combo box and pressed enter. Then we selected the DIC number field on the web page. We cleared the field of any existing data and wrote the value from our DIC variable. After entering all data onto the web page, we clicked the Verify button. We then tried to read the success message. If it existed, then it jumped to row 96, and if the message didn't exist, then it went to row 95. On the next row, it did the same thing, but looking for the unsuccessful message, and if it didn't exist, it jumped to row 98. Then the process retrieves the message, whatever it is. If this fails, then it moves to row 97. Then we write the message back into the results cell of our Excel list. Then the process would navigate back to the previous screen on the web page and would be redirected back to row 85 to repeat the same steps for the next item in our list. Once there is nothing left in our list, then we are redirected to row 99. The browser is then closed, and finally the process is ended. To run our process, just click on the Run Process button. You will need to make sure that you first check the box that confirms that you've read the terms and conditions and then click on the Accept button. In the free demo version of the software, this will be requested each time you run a process. After the process is finished, you should be able to see the statuses of each line. You will notice where our process was redirected in 3 different places based on our instruction. You can also see the other blue cells to the left. These are all updated with the results of each step in real time. The last thing to note are the results on our List 1 tab. You'll notice that column G has now been populated with the results that we extracted from the web page for each row.